We're with Coach Gundy as we get ready for homecoming at Oklahoma State. The Cowboys facing Cincinnati. Ollie Gordon obviously has just racked up tons of awards the last 2 weeks for his huge performances, but let me ask you this. How can he get even better than he is now? What's that look like?
Well, his challenge at this point is to stay humble and stay hungry. We talk about this a lot, that the outside information now is telling him how great he is. You have all the answers. You've arrived. He's played fabulous. He's been physical. He's been reliable. He's been durable. But he was hungry a month ago. He hadn't done much based on we haven't done much. So now I tell him every day, you got to stay hungry. You got to practice hard. You start to not practice as hard or sit out of a few reps in practice here and there, you're not going to play as well on Saturday. Mm-hmm. He can continue to improve in the throwing game as a receiver and as a protector in the passing game. Running-wise, he needs to continue with what he's accomplished over the last 4 games.
Sure. You know, Brennan Presley's been more involved the last couple of games. He had a touchdown catch at West Virginia. How have you found good ways to get him involved, and how much does Ollie's success give you more opportunity to get him involved?
The offense has moved him around quite a bit in the last month to keep people from zeroing in on exactly where he is. And the run game and the throw game work together. So we've been able to hand the ball to Presley some. Of course, we throw it to him quite a bit from different locations. But the ability to rush the football keeps us balanced. And when you're balanced, you have a lot of opportunities.
Sure. Defensively, and this is something you were talking about, not just defensive players, but offensive players as well. Guys just throwing their bodies around. Mm-hmm. You mentioned specifically earlier in the week linebackers Nick Martin and Xavier Benson as examples. There are others. Is that just when you start having fun? Of course, it's fun to win, but when guys are in a good place mentally, is that when you start seeing that? That's where right. Guys just mm-hmm. they just go with reckless abandon? You have a lot of guys doing that.
Somebody has to start it, and you have players like that now, but very few. So many young people concern themselves and protect their bodies, and actually they're making themselves more vulnerable in game day by protecting their body. We've got a number of players on both sides of the ball. Defensively with Xavier and Nick and Colin, and some of those front guys who are disregarding their body and playing violently, and that's what it takes to play this game. There's no soft side about it. Offensively, you've got 16 and 90, Cassidy and Josiah, that are just ramming themselves into the backside defensive ends. That's what's opening all those holes up for Ollie, along with the offensive line covering guys up. When you do that, you give yourself a chance to have success, and then somebody starts it, you start having success, other players see it, they start doing it. Now you have a team of guys that are playing reckless, and that gives you a chance to be successful.
Does the ability to rush the ball and literally run it right up the gut, does that set a tone for the entire team of that physicality? Because it seems like in football there's nothing like it. When you can run it, when people know you're going to run it and you run it right at them, does that have that type of psychological effect on the whole team?
I think it does. We used to do that here a long time ago. That was what we did, and then we became a little more diversified in the passing game, and when you do that, you're gonna use up some of your run stuff in practice. And then, years ago, I told you a couple times we played Baylor. Those 2 years they were really good, and they just bludgeoned us run blocking, and it's just demoralizing. I stood on the sideline, and there was nothing we could do. Yeah. They just run block and just pounded us that one year. I don't remember what year it was. Then they went to the bowl game and didn't have their quarterback and rushed for 400 yards and didn't even have a quarterback, and they couldn't do anything about it either. So, yes, it's good for the team, the mentality of your team, when you know you can physically pound on a team and have success.
So this week you'll face a Cincinnati team that you have said has the best defensive front you've faced. Mm-hmm. They haven't given up more than 125 yards on the ground in a game this year. Their nose, Dante Corleone, third-team All-American last year, highest defensive grade of any player in the country on Pro Football Focus. What makes him so good and so hard to deal with, the nose?
He's low to the ground. He's powerful. I'm guessing he's very strong. He plays almost in a frog position, where he doesn't always attack the center. Sometimes he plays laterally, gets hands on the center, slides side to side, does a good job of fitting into run schemes. He knows where to fit based on what the blocks are. He's got a lot of experience. Must be a smart football player. Those guys are tough to deal with in the offense.
So as far as their offense goes, it just almost seems like they're a couple of plays away, fourth down conversions, not turning it over deep in their own territory or deep in opponent's territory. You just take about 3 plays off their set of plays, off their record, so to speak. They can be 5-2 as easily as 2-5, couldn't they?
Yeah, easy to say they could have won 4 games now and possibly 5. Just a couple things. You know how it is. It's small, right? You turn the ball over at the wrong time. You don't convert the fourth down. And they've played well enough to win more than they've lost. Let's put it that way. And the team knows that. I feel good about our practice this week. We've competed and practiced hard. So I think they'll play really well.
Finally, it's homecoming, but I know that's important to you, but what you've talked about this year is what the atmosphere has been like. We're picking up anecdotal comments from other coaches talking about how hard it's been to play in Boone Pickens Stadium, and so now you have a team that's not been here to this environment. So I know what your message is.
Sure. We're going to have 65,000 people here Friday night walking the campus and look at all the Greeks' work on the floats and such, Greek life, and it's going to be packed. It'll be packed. It'll be loud on Saturday night. Our fans are engaged, and I think they feel a part of the team this year, more so than ever for some reason. That's important. You see that a lot in the SEC, where the fans feel like they're a part of the team. That has happened here this year, and I couldn't be more proud being a former player to see the crowd and the paddle people engage with the team, and the team feels their presence during the game. And it certainly helps with home field advantage.
Time for What's Your Beef. It's brought to you by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. You can see the quality through the clear plastic packaging. Well, one thing that was difficult to see, at least for some, was the field goal attempt at West Virginia that was very close, that was ruled to be no good. Someone said to me at practice the other day, we should just have NFL goalposts and we can eliminate that. So is that the answer? Do we just need to put the big, tall goalposts up and make it easier for the officials? Because it's hard to know, especially with a college rule, whether it's good or not. And they got it right, but it's hard.
I'm not sure why we don't have those. It's almost like the earpiece for the quarterback to eliminate the stealing signals. We have technology. We don't use technology in college football. They do in high school and they do in the pros. We don't in college for some reason. And to use the NFL goalpost would make it easy, that you wouldn't have that decision. The officials that are standing under the goalpost, their rule is if that ball is on line with the goalpost, it's no good.
Right.
Okay, it has to be inside the goalpost. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows that you can make a perfect call in that situation. To extend them would certainly make sense to me.
Yeah, it's very challenging. That's our show. We'll see you next week.